So there is a problem that's now it is separate. So regarding the Zika, problem statement, aging factors, mode of transmission, clinical picture, diagnosis, prevention, treatment. About these things we'll discuss in brief. The problem is World Health Organization has reported 22 countries and territories in America where transmission of Zika virus has been reported. So the factors of spread of Zika virus disease, what are the factors? Especially the vector mosquito is widely distributed geographic-wise, and also lack of immunity among population in newly affected area. So one is vector, another is immunity. The third is high volume of international travel. The travel across the world is increased, so easy to transmit. So there is another factor, travel. At present, not in India, but the same Aedes aegypti mosquito is common for transmission of dengue and Zika virus. So Aedes aegypti is a mosquito vector to carry the disease to the people. So the same vector is also responsible for spread of dengue and Zika virus. So that is the interrelation. So coming to the factor, it is an arbovirus, RNA flavivirus, that it acquired its name from a forest close to Kampala, Uganda. So it's named after a forest. A Sylvatic yellow fever surveillance network in Uganda first identified the virus in rhesus monkeys. So initially it's identified in the rhesus monkeys. In humans, in 1952 in Uganda and Tanzania, some reports from America also. Currently, it is the largest epidemic of Zika in Brazil, recorded over 4,40,000 to 13 lakhs suspected cases, which was reported by the Brazilian health authorities. The death of 15 as of 21st October 2015 in the world. There are around 4 million people infected since 2015 after a substantial spike of cases of microcephaly and Guillain-Barré syndrome. You know microcephaly, small head, because of the brain tissue is damaged by the Zika virus. So tissue and cells naturally be destruction, it leads to small volume of the brain cells and tissue. So microcephaly happens. Guillain-Barré syndrome. Do you know what is Guillain-Barré syndrome? It's because of the usually peripheral nerves which will be attacked by the virus. On 1st February 2016, Zika virus was declared as public health emergency of international concern. WHO 2016. There is low risk of spread to Asia, like India. So it is important to strengthen national framework for early detection, management, timely containment. Containment means it should not go further. A disease caused by Zika virus that spread by mosquito borne. In most cases, no symptoms. So that means asymptomatics are more than symptomatics. But some can trigger GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome. In kidney injury, it may cause subsequent birth defects. In India, less than 5,000 cases per year. So what is the mode of transmission? By animal or insect bite or stings. By having unprotected vaginal, anal or oral sex. In USA, 2018-19, a local mosquito-borne Zika virus has been reported. So, Center for Disease Control confirmed active local Zika virus transmission from these countries: Angola, Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda, Argentina, Aruba, Barbados, Belize, Bolivia. So these are the countries for Zika virus, local Zika virus transmission. Actively it is there. It is named after Zika forest in Uganda. Human cases were reported in 1952. The natural reservoir of Zika virus is unknown, so it is not confirmed, but it is a genetic bond with West African monkeys, orangutan, zebras, elephants, etc. likely reservoirs. So it is not confirmed, but likely reservoirs. Zika virus is transmitted to people through bite of infection of Aedes species mosquitoes. Sometimes kill expected. Usually Aedes is the commonest. They are aggressive day biters and stay near people outdoors and indoors because these Aedes aegypti are the day biters. They are made to the humans. These mosquitoes lay eggs in and near standing water in things like buckets, bowls, and animal dishes, flower pots, vases, flower vases. Zika virus can pass from mother to fetus during pregnancy, which is called as vertical transmission. About 1 in 5 infected with Zika virus become, that is the disease, develop Zika disease as per the CDC 2016. The symptoms appear after a few days of bite an infected mosquito. So maybe around 3 to 4 days, the infection, the symptoms appear, and usually last 3 to 12 days, almost 10 days. So 3 days after bite and lasting for 10 days, the symptoms. Asymptomatic. The asymptomatic presentations are frequent by Zika with a wide range of clinical symptoms. But it presents like a dengue-like syndrome. So like a dengue-like syndrome, asymptomatics, only asymptomatics, dengue-like syndrome. Zika virus can pass from mother to fetus during pregnancy. The symptoms are arthralgia, extremities are edema edematous, mild fever, headache, retroorbital pain, congenital viral hyperemia, and maculopapular rashes, and spreading down from the face to the limbs. So this downward trend, the rashes spread from upwards to downwards, and frequently pruritic, vesicular. So it is itchy, pruritic and vesicular, myalgia, body pains, and digestive disorders, maybe nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. People usually recover in 2 to 7 days. Death is rare. So even though Zika virus infected, death is rare. The disease is linked to microcephaly, damaged cells of the brain of fetus, smaller head size, and sometimes Guillain-Barré syndrome. You know Guillain-Barré syndrome? It is a syndrome characterized by the immunity or immune cells affecting the own nerves, so peripheral nerves, that causes Guillain-Barré syndrome in different aspects like tingling and also pain, other symptoms of the day. Zika virus testing for diagnosis, maternal serum includes reverse transcription, polymerase chain reaction, testing for symptomatic patients with onset of symptoms within the previous year. Normally, this is a reverse transcription from normally DNA to mRNA, mRNA to proteins, but it is reversed. RNA will be, it will be reverses by reverse transcriptase, RNA reverse transcriptase. This makes this cDNA. So cDNA is part of the RNA. Then the RNA will be removed, DNA will be there. So this is the reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction, testing for symptomatic patients. So that will confirm the Zika virus because it is a RNA virus. So RNA virus produces single strand. Immunoglobulin and neutralizing antibody should be performed on specimens collected 4 days after onset of symptoms. So don't collect immediately at the time of infective and signs and symptoms. So 4 days after symptoms, you collect the specimens for immunoglobulin and also neutralizing antibody. Why immunoglobulin? Because only RT-PCR is not only the diagnostic. It may spread or it may not spread. It may cause infection, it may not cause infection. That also depends on the immunity, like coronavirus. So immunoglobulin, IgM initially, but IgG after some time, maybe 10 days or 7 days. So if you identify the immunoglobulin, that means already the person is infected and he produces the IgM. So this IgM or IgG is a neutralizing antibody. It neutralizes the virus. It cannot attack the host cell. So in that way, its action will be there. Immunoglobulin action will be there. Before a patient is diagnosed with Zika virus disease, one should rule out dengue, chikungunya, West Nile fever, malaria, yellow fever, KFD, and typhoid. So almost the chikungunya and West Nile fever, dengue will be the same shapes, like shapes of RNA and DNA inside, with proteins, glycoproteins outside, and with the dense envelope outside. Serological tests are not recommended as there are no tests are available. So serology is not available as a diagnostic aspect. Virus isolation from blood samples. Serology means you know that antigen antibodies together, if you add together, that will attract each other. But the specific antigen, specific antibody should be there. So virus isolation. Coming to the criteria for diagnosing the Zika virus for epidemiological purposes, suspect case and confirmed case. Suspect case definition: case is a patient with skin rash, fever, or temperature more than 38 degrees centigrade. So rash and fever should be there. Suspect case with one or more of the following signs and symptoms like arthralgia, non-purulent conjunctivitis, conjunctival, hyperemia, headache, or malaise. So without any pus and any debris, the conjunctivitis will be there with headache. With history of travel to countries with indigenous transmission of Zika. So indigenous means local. So within the last 2 weeks, if there is a history of travel 15 days back, from then onwards, within the last 2 weeks, then that is a suspicion. Confirmed case. The suspected case with laboratory positive result for the specific detection of Zika virus by RT-PCR. So all the other things like definite rash, fever, headache, and non-purulent conjunctivitis travel together with positive result of RT-PCR, it is a confirmed case. No symptoms or mild symptoms. Mild symptoms like that last several days to weeks. Infection in pregnancy causes a serious bodily defect called microcephaly and other defects. Several fetal brain defects also may be there, not only microcephaly. We consider travel if the spouse of the partner gets pregnant or trying to get pregnant. So whether planning for pregnancy or trying to already got pregnancy, they should abandon the travel abroad. Babies born with brain damage from Zika epidemic virus, when become 2 years old, fall behind their development, require lifetime care. So any baby born with brain damage or microcephaly during Zika epidemic virus, there is a chance at the time of a 2-year-old, their development will be totally fall down. And from then onwards, entire 24-hour care is necessary for the baby. So almost then lifetime care also is necessary as per CDC prevention. Treatment. The virus, Zika virus, is usually relatively mild and requires non-specific treatment. So there is no specific treatment so far. People sick with Zika virus should get plenty of rest, water, and paracetamol for fever. These 3 are the supporting therapy. Then diagnosis. NCDC, National Control of Disease Center, Delhi, and NIV, Pune, National Institute of Virology, have the capacity to provide laboratory diagnosis of Zika virus disease in febrile illness states. So both together they can diagnose during febrile illness states. Delhi and Pune support the outbreak investigation. Together they can support the investigation for confirmation of laboratory diagnosis. ICMR supports the additional laboratories for diagnosis. So they will establish other centers like state-wide, district-wide. Standard test is the RT-PCR, reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction. As of now, no commercially available tests are present, only RT-PCR. Management includes bed rest and supportive care, the mainstay of treatment, no vaccine, no medication, and fluids to prevent dehydration. So only fluids to prevent dehydration. And medicines, of course, is a symptomatic treatment like pain and fever, acetaminophen or paracetamol. But other than paracetamol, like ibuprofen, naproxen, should not be given because if dengue has to be ruled out. If you give ibuprofen, there is a chance of bleeding. That's why you should not give initially. Otherwise, unless otherwise, dengue is ruled out. So that is the NSAIDs, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. Clinical trials reveal inventions like Zikavac. It is a drug claimed by Hyderabad Bharat Biotech. Based on development, it showed that positive test results on animal tests, but not in humans. So, in humans, it didn't show any positive result after using this Zika vac. It is a vaccine drug. The vaccine contains monoclonal antibodies, three chimeric monoclonal antibodies are present in this Zika vac, and also two candidate Zika vaccines for Zika infection for prevention, but not in humans. No specific antiviral treatment to symptoms, rest fluids and medications, acetaminophen, Tylenol, both are paracetamol. To relieve joint pain, no vaccine exists to prevent Zika virus. Under clinical trials only, vaccine is reported active Zika virus outbreak only from India, northwestern state of Rajasthan. The disappearance of Zika virus is because of herd immunity. What is herd immunity? Herd immunity, those people who are not infected or who are not given vaccine, and they will be protected by the majority of the people who got infected, naturally infected, or got vaccination. So that is one of the preventive indirect useful method. Indirect protection by sufficient population if they got immunity by vaccine or natural infection. It protects unimmunized, and it is only a minority of unimmunized. But majority are, if the majority are immune, the minority of unimmunized will be protected. Should be directed. Prevention and control should be directed as the fundamental reduction of vector density. So to reduce the vector density, that is the mosquito, because it is a mosquito-borne disease, better to reduce the Aedes aegypti mosquito to prevent the transmission. Coming to the integrated management strategy, IMS, for the prevention and control of dengue, provides the basis for preparedness of Zika virus, include intersectoral participation, collaboration with all levels of government, health, education, environment, social development and tourism sectors, participation of NGOs and private organizations. Altogether, this is the intersectoral and collaboration with these things. Maintain risk communication. Whenever there is a risk is there, because Aedes aegypti is there, then it should be communicated properly and awareness program should be arranged. Mobilization for the whole community So you have to mobilize the community, make them aware, make them alert to arrange their own prevention and control and follow the uh, health authorities. I mean, coming to the NIV, National Institute of Virology, has prepared itself to offer testing for Zika virus detection. So they will arrange the whatever the requirements are there. They will collect these slides and swabs, and they will detect the virus if it is there. At Pune, where if needed, Zika virus suspected acute samples can be tested. So the samples can be transferred and transported to the Pune for testing and detection. Social framework. There are actually two social frameworks are there. One is Hugo framework, HFW, and the second one is Sendai framework. So this Sendai framework is from Japan, and the Hugo framework is in Europe. To adopt globally accepted test practices. So, what are the best test practices that should be accepted for disaster risk reduction? This is for the purpose is disaster risk reduction. So, reduction risk should be reduced by disasters. So, this is the Sendai framework of Japan, adapted at the UN Sendai, Japan on March 18, 2015, successor framework to Hugo framework. So initially Hugo framework, then Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction. India is on voluntary basis to meet the global targets by improving the entire disaster management cycles. So, but for India, actually there is not mandatory, but they have taken for our own purpose. For improving the disaster management, they have made it as a compulsory for the voluntary basis. And this Sendai framework followed by SDG in September and UNCOP 21, that is Climate Change Agreement to combat human-induced climate in December. So the climate is induced by humans. That's why, because of the collection of the water and also the production of the weeds is into mosquito, then the transport of the many communicable diseases. And DRR is a common theme in these three global agreements. DRR is disaster risk reduction. It requires investments in research and use of technology to enhance multi-hazard early warning system. So the agreements can help to enhance multi-hazard, not only single hazard, but multi-hazard, like dengue and also Zika, and so on and so forth. Multi-hazard early warning system, preparedness, response, recovery, rehabilitation, reconstruction. So this is the idea and the theme. The recommendations by CDC: men who travel to active Zika virus region, they should either use condoms or abstain from sex for at least 6 months. Why 6 months? Because the Zika traces, genetic traces of Zika virus can be found in semen, human male semen, for 180 days after infection. So that's why 180 days is 6 months they should be free from sex. Then till 1952, it is a disease specific to monkeys. Largest epidemic in 2015-16 affected more than 33 countries, with more than 4 million cases in Brazil alone. Correlation of microcephaly, also neurological conditions, and Zika virus infection. So there is whenever there is a microcephaly and neurological conditions like GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, then you can correlate with the Zika virus infection. So you should correlate in terms of quality, quantity, and also combinations, and also test diagnosis. and also area already there is endemic, like that. Emergency Committee, IHR, International Health Regulations Emergency Committee, declared as emergency of international concern 2016. India with 100 deaths in Rajasthan. And 6 countries, that is in 2018, 100 deaths in 2018. 6 countries are 30 years reported evidence of mosquito transmitted Zika infection. Coming to the microbiology. Zika is an icosahedral enveloped single-stranded RNA arbovirus flavivirus genus. 180 copies of it contains 180 copies of glycoprotein and plus or one or two other proteins and enveloped with the envelope. So this is the icosahedral means almost two equilateral triangles comprised of the globular envelope. This flavivirus spread by arthropod eats Egypti mosquito. Because it is a day biter, bite rate is high during dawn and dusk. Also dengue, chikungunya and yellow fever. So before giving any treatment, especially the bleeding causes drugs, we should exclude dengue, chikungunya and yellow fever. So that is the exception. Pregnant mother to fetus is vertical transmission and also by sexual contact and also hemorrhage and organ transplantation. Sexual transplantation, unprotected sex, avoid by contraceptive methods. So contraceptive methods, condoms will help. Chance of Zika and active Zika transmission areas. Avoid conception for males at least 6 months. Avoid conception for females at least 6 months. For females, 2 months. This is not conception actually. They should avoid the sexual transmission. In males 6 months, for females 2 months. 6 months already told you 180 days because the semen, the virion particles will be present in the semen. Pathophysiology can grow in different species ranging from arthropods to vertebrates that can act as hosts. Viral attaches to unknown receptors of host cells with the help of its envelope. Glycoproteins then release of viral RNA into the cytoplasm. So, after attaching to the receptors, the viral RNA will be released to the cytoplasm. Next generation virion particles accumulate in the endoplasmic reticulum. So, initially receptors, then cytoplasm, then endoplasmic reticulum are secretory vesicles from which they are released again. So, this is the steps. Signs and symptoms. Incubation period is 3 to 14 days. Variable duration is 3 days. It is between 3rd and 5th day after the onset of clinical symptoms. 80% patient will not develop symptoms. So 20% only symptomatic, 80% are asymptomatic. Symptoms: fever, rash, conjunctivitis, muscle, joint pain, malaise, headache, lasts for 2 to 7 days, almost a week. Complications of Zika. We already discussed about the GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, neuropathy to myelitis. Myelitis is an infection of spinal cord. In adults and older children, transplacental transmission lead to microcephaly by an abnormal brain development and also loss of brain tissue. Congenital and in developing fetus, newborn, and limb contractions will be there. Muscle tone will be very high. Hearing loss also will be there. Fetal loss will be there. There is the stillbirth more than 28 weeks and less than 28 weeks also there is miscarriage and preterm birth less than 37 weeks. Or anything may happen, fetal loss. These are all congenital-like syndrome. So congenital-like syndrome. Zika-related complications are 5 out of 15. 5 of all infants which are born to mothers who are infected during pregnancy. Congenital malformations are both by symptomatic and asymptomatic. So, unfortunately, asymptomatic infection also causes congenital malformations along with symptomatic. So coming to the Ebola virus disease, it is a new and emerging disease. Previously unknown disease continue to emerging together. These trends amount to a crisis for today and tomorrow, that is in future. It belongs to Flaviviridae family and agent factors are five species. It is one of the three members of the family along with the genus Marburg virus and the genus Cuba virus. Marburg virus and the Cuba virus. It is zoonotic and also in Africa. Host factors are rainforest mourners and healthcare workers. The mourners are those people who will go and mourn by the side of the dead bodies and other dangerous things. Dead bodies related to Ebola. So they are very dangerous and also they are family friends to the dead person. Reservoir, handling of infected bats, porcupine, etc. Either they may be dead or alive. So that is the reservoir, bats and porcupine. Source of infection, blood, body secretions. That is the source of infection for the Ebola. Return of Indians from affected Western nations increase Ebola virus disease. So those who went to Western nations which are locally highly endemic, so they increase the Ebola virus locally. Men secrete the virus for about 7 weeks in semen after recovered from the disease. So this also secreted in the semen, like Zika virus. But Zika virus is 90 days, here it is 7 weeks. Natural reservoir of course unknown, zoonotic animal-borne viral infection. Likely reservoirs are bats. Introduced in humans through blood secretions, organs, body fluids of infected animals. So infected animals, their blood, their secretions, their organs, and body fluids will be this source. Cannot be contacted through food, air, water, persons in asymptomatic. So here, asymptomatic individuals cannot transmit Ebola virus disease. Transmission of virus, direct contact by an individual with another individual who is experiencing symptoms. So there is a direct contact by symptomatic, not by asymptomatic. Ebola virus is an emerging viral infection. Its incidence increased during the last 2 decades, which threaten to increase in the near future. Diseases are spreading to new geographical areas. So like the cholera, it was not known in South Africa, it is now, you can find it easily, cholera in South Africa. Like yellow fever in Kenya. So these are some of the examples. Not very, a lot of yellow fever cases are found in Kenya. So previously it's not there, now it is there. Modes of transmission, person to person, by insects or animals, but not by contaminated water or food, almost rare or many. AIDS caused by human immunodeficiency virus. So like person to person and blood and also needles and also by sexual contact. After 1983, 2.3 billion cases per year were there of the Ebola. Previously known as Ebola hemorrhagic fever, appears first time in Jail and Sudan in 1976. It is one of the 3 members of the Flaviviridae. Flaviviridae are a phylogras family, comprise distinct subspecies. Like that, 5 species are there. Flavivirus family consists of 5 species. Jail Ebola virus, Restan Ebola virus, Sudan Ebola virus, Thai Ebola virus, Bundi Bugoya Ebola virus. So these are the 5 different distinct subspecies. Recent available proven that in Guinea and spread to South Africa. So Guinea and also Jade, very situations in 2030. The people are being attacked and they are being bleeding because here the small arteries or blood vasculature is involved. That will be punctured and bleeding will occur. By 8th April 2015, 25,515 cases have been reported with 10,000 deaths. Case fatality rate is 70%. But it is next to rabies. Rabies almost 90 to 100%. Once it is attacked, then there is no treatment. Incubation period is 2 to 21 days. Not infective during incubation period. So, incubation, what is incubation period? It is entry of the organism to the appearance of the symptoms. During this phase, it is not infective. But incubation period is only 2 to 21 days. Signs and symptoms of the Ebola virus disease. Sudden onset of fever, more than 38.6 degrees C or 101.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Increased weakness. Weakness is too much. Unbearable, cannot walk, cannot stand, he has to sleep. Muscle pain, headache, and sore throat, along with the weakness. Followed by vomiting, diarrhea, rash, fever, kidney, and liver functions. And internal external bleeding, sore throat. So, because of the impaired kidney liver functions, the enzymes will be increased, especially liver enzymes. And also, because of the kidney functions are decreased, urea creatinine will be increased. Laboratory, reduced platelet, reduced white blood cells, increased liver enzymes. Symptoms appear anywhere between 2 to 21 days after exposure to Ebola virus. So, like incubation period also 2 to 21 days, and exposure to the appearance of symptoms also 2 to 21 days. But the after incubation period only, during incubation, Ebola virus won't spread at all. Most common is 8 to 10 days with symptoms. People are infectious as long as their blood contain and their secretions have virus. So virus should be and must be present in the blood or their secretions. Then only it is infectious. Asymptomatic cases are not infective. The virus is transmitted through direct contact with the blood, organs, body secretions, or other body fluids of infected animals like chimpanzees, gorillas, monkeys, and fruit bats. Human to human transmission is through blood or body fluids. Infected symptomatic person are through exposure to objects like needles having contaminated with infected secretions. It is not transmitted through air, water, or food. Clinical picture illness is characterized by sudden onset of fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, vomiting, diarrhea, rash, impaired kidney and liver function. Sometimes internal and external bleeding. Because why bleeding occurs? Ebola affects the small vasculature. So that will burst and that will leak the blood, both internal and also external. No specific treatment for the disease, no vaccine against Ebola. If a patient is diagnosed as infected with Ebola virus disease, one should rule out all the conditions like malaria, typhoid fever, shigellosis, cholera, leptospirosis, plague, rickettsiosis, meningitis, hepatitis, viral hemorrhagic fever like dengue, yellow fever, and KFD. You know, KFD is a Cassino-Forest disease. Initially, mitis trichomonas, that is. So, all this should be ruled out before diagnosing, before treating some supportive therapy. Coming to the diagnosis, what is the diagnosis? ELISA. This is enzyme-linked immunosorbent test. So, it uses enzymes which are in collision with the Ebola virus. Antigen detection. Whereas is the detection of the virus itself, antigen detection. Serum neutralization test. It is neutralization of the antibody, neutralization of antigen by the antibody. So suppose that the Ebola virus an antigen is detected, then add the specific antibody, it can neutralize that means Ebola virus is ineffective to infect the host cell. That is the serum neutralization test. RT-PCR, reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction. If the virus is formed because it is a single strand RNA, that will be by reverse phase, it can be reduced. Because initially the reverse single RNA to the double RNA, then by reverse transcriptase, then proteins will be produced. But usually DNA, mRNA, then proteins. That is the normal. Reverse is down to up. Electron microscope, we can visualize electron microscope, but through electron microscope we can observe only dead organisms. Virus isolation, by isolating the virus itself, and after isolation you can culture. Treatment is only intensive supporting care in symptomatic treatment. Supportive care is symptomatic treatment. Management in the form of balancing the patient's fluid and electrolytes and oxygen status, blood pressure, and any complications of that. That is the management. Experimental interventions like JEDMAP developed. So it is a JEDMAP developed by biopharmaceutical. It is a drug, biopharmaceutical drug, and it is produced by the Bharat Biotech. And it comprises 3 chemical microcolonial antibodies under development as a treatment for Ebola virus disease, but not yet tested for individuals infected with Ebola virus. So it is only under development. But once it develops, this monoclonal antibody specifically that will neutralize the antigen Ebola virus. The mortality can be reduced instead of the disease is prevented by specific infection control measures. So by following specific control measures, we can reduce the death rate. No specific treatment and no vaccine. So healthcare workers are the most affected people in the Ebola virus disease. They have been frequently infected by treating the patients with suspected or confirmed Ebola virus disease. When infection control measures are not strictly practiced, any leverage is there, any negligence is there, there is every chance of spreading the virus to the healthcare workers. In Africa, infection has been documented among those handling infected chimpanzees, so especially Jew people and also forest working people and animals like gorillas, fruit bats, monkeys, forest antelope, porcupines, either ill or dead. Rainforest mourners who have direct contact with the bodies of the Ebola virus infected people as a part of cremation or burial ceremonies. So they will participate in the cremation and also burial ceremonies. They will be affected. Prevention and control of Ebola virus disease by traditional public health measures. What are the traditional sanitization, hygiene, and also non-touch technique, all these things. Early detection. Detect the viral disease as early as possible by RT-PCR and also ELISA test. Isolation of cases. Once the case is confirmed by diagnosis, isolate them and in a specific room, very far away. And contact tracing. So who is the person that is responsible for this disease? By contact, it is already infected to others. So trace the contact person. Monitoring. So whatever they done is in order or not. There is a monitoring, and is it correctly going or not? That's monitoring the events. Following rigorous procedures for infection control. So rigorous procedures are there, like PPEs and also gloves and also goggles and also full coverage. All these things should be there. awareness in community. So especially community should be know that the disease is very dangerous, very contagious. Like PPE, personal protective equipment should be arranged, and that should be there should be a training for the healthcare workers and also those who are concerned with these things. Caring handling of infected body secretions, fluids, patients, and animals. Persons coming from Ebola affected areas develop symptoms within 2 days, immediately report to healthcare facility. They should go immediately to the healthcare facility if they have the symptoms and if they visited the or traveled to the infected areas. Later follow-up for 2 months, infection control practices. So the follow-up should be there for 2 months. Prevention control of EBVD outbreak by disposal of the dead body of the affected patient or animal packed with impermeable leak-proof body bags. So this is very important. Impermeable leak-proof body bags. The body bags should be impermeable and also there should not be any leak in it. No puncture should be there and such a material it should be there for safe disposal. Avoid ritual activities after death. There is no ritual activities, no touching, and no gathering, no crowding. So, some of the points are there how to prepare in India for Ebola virus disease, prevention, and also control. Preparedness and vigilance to combat the complex public health emergency. Ban non-essential travel to 4 affected countries. So, it's already given. And strengthen National Institute of Virology and also National Communicable Disease Control Delhi to diagnose the virus during epidemics and also other times. Emergency medical relief in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare activated 24-hour helpline emergency. Flight announcements before landing about preparedness about the Ebola virus area if they are landing. Mandatory reporting of signs and symptoms, passengers from affected countries. So, is there, suppose already they are landing, signs and symptoms should be reported by the passengers. And also, normal passengers, they should be explained about the signs and symptoms of the Ebola virus disease if they are entering into the affected areas of the countries. Surveillance system at airports and seaports. So thorough surveillance system should be there. Checking of the any person coming from the Ebola virus area or suffering from the Ebola virus disease. IDSP, Integrated Disease Surveillance Program. Integrated Disease Surveillance Program. Put an alert designated hospitals and isolation wards and about the PPE, personal protective equipment. So these are the other things for the preparedness in India for Ebola virus disease. So any doubts you can ask. Yes, do you have any doubt? If you have no doubts, I'll stop at this juncture. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you. Um,